The fabulous Mike Ferguson joins us now. Mike, welcome back to Morning Line. Hey, Mike, I know you're a big music guy as well. We're talking 3 named bands. Any of your faves come to mind?
Well, from the 90s, I remember there was a band called Three Doors Down.
Yes.
That
yes.
had some good songs. And, I'm an 80s, metal guy.
Okay.
Really nerdy 80s metal guy. There was a band that wasn't real popular in the U.S., but was popular in other places, called House of Lords.
Yes.
Some really good music.
Yes.
They're actually still doing, yeah.
You play a lot of House of Lords music, I know, Mike, when you when you do your various shows and productions on TV and radio. So I'm familiar because you've made me familiar with House of Lords. So, Mike, lots to get to.
Your head banging when you're listening to me.
Yeah, absolutely, and you got the hair for it too. Speaking of big news this week, Mike, are you and we've talked about this before in the past. But give me your thoughts and analyses of what you heard on Capitol Hill yesterday. To me, it sounded like, especially Dorsey, just came in, looking like he just crawled out of the Ted Kaczynski cabin. The guy couldn't take a shower, or comb his hair, or find a razor, and he just looked like he seemed insufferable to me. Like, why are these people wasting my time? But Mike, if these people are going to bend or even break the rules. And I'm not for censorship. I'm for the open. I'm a radio guy, for Lord's sake. Right. I need to have the free, open expression of ideas on the First Amendment. But Mike, they seem to be the extremely well funded, non-reported contributions that keep clicking into the DNC.
Yeah, Jack Dorsey came across as, you remember that guy in college that nobody liked? He was at the end of the dorm. He thought he was smarter than everybody else. Rolled his eyes at you all the time, but he was wrong about everything he said.
Yes.
I mean, that's what Jack Dorsey came across as yesterday. I mean, he just came across as a arrogant jerk. And I got to tell you, Ted Cruz just mopped the floor with it.
He really did.
Yeah.
It was Ted Cruz at his finest yesterday.
Oh, my goodness. That was, I started to feel bad for Jack Dorsey, and then I thought, no, wait a minute. Let's look at what he's doing. I don't feel bad for Jack Dorsey.
Mike, he even had
you talked about.
Yeah, Dorsey even had basic facts wrong, didn't he? He was even screwing up basic facts, like the fact that the New York Post, their account is locked. There's nothing they can do about it. He still wants them to delete their tweet, and that was the point. He wanted them to do something, which was the point of the entire hearing, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and then people are pointing out the hypocrisies. Something Donald Trump will tweet out. And Donald Trump's tweets have missed the mark sometimes. He's not 100% accurate all the time when he tweets. But they're letting the Ayatollah actually tweet out threats of warfare and destruction, and that's fine. So it was Dorsey just basically, you wouldn't talk about arrogance and elitism. You were just talking about the political elitism. Well, this is the digital elitism, and he just came across as somebody who just thinks he's untouchable. And other than getting run around the room in hearings, I don't know, maybe he is untouchable, but he sure came across that way as just someone who just thinks he is on a different level than the rest of us. And remember, I'm a free markets guy and a free speech guy. I think Twitter can run their company the way they want to run their company, but they're getting called out for it, and we now know what we're working with when we're working with Twitter.
Yeah, and I guess the point is, Mike, they shouldn't be above the law, right? Twitter and Facebook and the other algorithms along those lines, they should not be the fourth branch of government, should they?
Yeah, exactly. And we're heading into an election. I mean, they're almost basically. They're not going to say the words in acknowledging that they're trying to influence the election, but they're just trying to hold on through Election Day and try to keep their customer base while still blatantly trying to influence what we see, what we learn, what we say, and eventually how we vote. I mean, I really do think that big tech in this country is desperately trying to just hang on a few more days and try to push the elections in their favor.
Speaking of Election Day, Mike, it is 5 days away. Can you believe it? I feel like we've been preparing for this literally for the last nearly 4 years. As soon as Donald Trump was elected and they couldn't do anything about it, the liberal intelligentsia was trying to find a way to get him out of office. They tried multiple times during the last 4 years to upend the will of the people, and then they began, when that all failed, they then began talking about how the great and indomitable Joe Biden, there's a candidate for the future, was going to take them into this beautiful promised land of progressivism. Mike, how you feeling? How you thinking? What are you watching 5 days out as you analyze, as we all try to analyze what might happen next Tuesday?
Right now, I'm watching Pennsylvania. Is what I'm watching. There is an electoral war happening in Pennsylvania. You can look at polls. Some say Biden's ahead. Some say Trump is ahead. But to a much bigger point, the state Supreme Court there has issued some rulings that are really, really troubling. They have said that election workers cannot reject mail-in ballots just because the signatures clearly do not match the voter registration roll. So a mail-in ballot comes in, it says it's Tim Jones. And they look at the signature on the ballot form there for the mail-in, and they compare it to the voter rolls, and they say, wait a minute, that is clearly not Tim Jones' signature. It's not even close. They have to take it. Also,
and Mike, hey Mike, this is Jason. It should be noted that the majority on the Pennsylvania Supreme Court is Democrats by, I believe, a 7-2 margin.
7-2, right? Exactly. And this was unanimous. Strangely enough, the Republicans went along with it.
Good grief.
But they also issued a ruling, of course, that's extended. How late that they'll take mail-in ballots after Election Day. And here's what's really amazing: they've now also, as part of that ruling, said they don't even have to have a postmark on it. So mail-in ballots can show up 2 or 3 days later. Oh, look what we found, and these just got dropped off. They must count. And so watch Pennsylvania for election fraud, and that is a crucial swing state. You've got Minnesota, Michigan. I don't care what the media says. Wisconsin is in play. Ohio and Pennsylvania, those are the states I'm looking at when we head into Election Day.
Excellent. We are speaking to radio show host extraordinaire and TV as well, Mike Ferguson of American Viewpoints at AVP Radio Show on Twitter. Mike also spends a lot of time on our sister stations up in Columbia and Jefferson City, 93.9 The Eagle and KWOS there in Jefferson City. All fantastic Zimmer Radio Group products. Mike, I wanted to...
Gotta get that sucking up to the boss in there, Tim.
PSA in there here early in the morning.
You want to jump in on that, Tim? Get a piece of this, Tim. Come on.
Yeah, I think they're both in town today, by the way. Jonathan Williams is going to be one of your guests this week, Mike. We talked to him earlier in the week, and this is Mike. This is one of those issues that Jonathan, I know you're going to talk to about with the proposal that the taxpayers basically bail out the blue states, and it's one of those issues that people's eyes quickly start glazing over, and it's incredibly complex and tedious. But Mike, it is so important. Another reason we need to reelect Donald Trump and just as important, Republican U.S. Senate, because the big blue states, Mike, that have failed for decades to get their taxing and spending under control now want us here in the heartland, us here in Southwest Missouri, here in the Show Me State, to bail out New York and Connecticut and New Jersey and California for all of the fiscal misterity, right? No austerity there that they've practiced over the last many years.
Yeah, exactly. And the debate is supposedly over how are we going to borrow over $1 trillion, add to the national debt, and then spend it on coronavirus relief when the economy is bouncing back. It is coming back. If we would have local leaders and state leaders around the country just get the government off of the economy's neck, we will come back from this. But you're right. All of a sudden, we're talking billions and trillions of dollars, and governors like Newsom in California, Cuomo in New York, Pritzker in Illinois, they're all saying, hey, that's a lot of money, and man, it would be really nice to bail out our buddies here and bail out our states. Because Illinois has a reserve fund that I think will last the state about 8.5 minutes if they had to tap into it. And so they really want to keep all these great big programs going on. And as Jonathan was pointing out in his op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, and I know we're going to talk about this, the same stretch of road, highway, cost you 20 to 30% more to build in Illinois because of their lousy policies and giveaways to special interest groups like public sector unions and things like that. So it's not just about the numbers. It comes down to your life is affected, not just because you pay higher taxes in some of these states, but because you get less for your money, and the government looks at each and every productive person as simply an ATM to take money from to hand to somebody else that has a vote that can be secured.